What's up, everybody? It's your favorite beat cop's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the night beat from Fans Hobby called Nightwalker. Night clubbing. Isn't that Grace Jones? I could be wrong. Anyway, this one loaned to me from Lance. Shout out to Lance. He's a good dude. Looked out for me. Let me know way in advance that this was coming. Asked if I would take a look at it. I said sure, because we looked at the other mold. But it's always interesting at least to do the transformation both ways and have that available on the channel, but also see if any kind of changes have been made. And I think there have been. I don't want to spoil it now, and I'm not 100% sure. Memory's a tricky thing, but we are going to talk about it. But in order to talk about that, we got to talk about accessories. He comes with two guns. We'll just take a look at one. They are identical. Obviously, they can fold up and then they can extend. It's a little tricky to get the handle out, but it is definitely doable. And you got the silver paint there, silver paint at the top there. Decent enough. And he'll hold those just fine with the tab into the palm in typical Masterpiece fashion. The weapons can store in vehicle mode. You have to take the hood off and they'll plug in to little side channels there quite nicely. Obviously, he comes with this headmaster. The arms are on little ball pegs, so you hit a little bit of up down. You get the swivel around. You have metallic blue on his head. The head swivels. You have an ab crunch due to the transformation, but that's still pretty cool. And then you have a elbow hinge that gets you just shy of 90 degrees. And then you have T-jointed ball joints for hips that don't really get you anything out. They get you forward and back a good bit. And then you get a little bit of a thigh swivel and then a knee hinge that gets you the full range. Now we'll go ahead and cover transformation too, but the other piece that you'll need is this, which is kind of a parts forming piece as far as I can tell. It does look nice. It's seemingly completely painted, which is beautiful, and then the blue, the yellow and the silver. So to transform him, pretty simple. You just ab crunch him all the way over, collapse his legs in, and then slide on his helmet to give you the Target Master head, which you get the red eyes that look great, and the rest of the sculpt is really good too. So no issues there, but it doesn't hold with the as soon as you move the ab crunch down, it pops it out of place, so you can't actually have it in place. Now, as you can see, this face did fall off. It fell off probably due to my heavy-handedness. The reason why it falls off is so that you can replace it with this option, which has a little bit more of a happier face. Obviously, the orange deco and then the blue, metallic blue eyes painted on. So, your call. And he can sit in your car if you so desire. So he comes with a set of stickers to give you that kind of look, which I do appreciate given, you know, the kind of itch that this type of figure is going to scratch for you. So I dig it. All right, so let's talk about the figure. And I just want to go ahead and get this out of the way. And forgive me if this rubs you the wrong way. I'm getting this backpack out of here. Yes, it is a backpack. To me, it's a parts forming piece that can be stored. I think that the figure kind of suffers with it on both aesthetically and functionally. So I'm just going to remove it. If you think that that affects the kind of objectivity of the review, then that's fair. But I just think it's just a so much more appealing piece without it. That being said, the head is on a ball peg of sorts. It's the headmaster peg, right? You get a little bit of side to side. And I guess it ultimately perhaps even acts more like a hinge. You get a good bit down, a fair bit up. The swivel, we've already talked about the deco of that. What we haven't talked about is that it does have the power stats inside. That's a gimmick, but we should have probably talked about it. Paint, yellow paint, silver paint. I should also say that we're starting this in robot mode because we went, I think I mentioned that in the opening sequence, right? Because we're gonna do the transformation into car mode because we've done it the other way already. So both will be available. For the shoulders, we have the shoulder pads. They can get up and out of the way. You can configure them 1,000 different ways. I think this is the proper way. Silver paint here and here. As you know, Fans Hobby comes from some of the Fans Project folks. The way that these armatures work, as well as this backpack piece that kind of eats me up, reminds me kind of Fans Project in an engineering way. I have to also say that I feel like these materials aren't as soft as the Minerva. They're a little bit more sturdy, and I can't help but think that had something to do with my review. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're not. But I'm telling you, to me, it feels that way. Perhaps it's the layer of paint that's on a lot of this. The blue is painted, the yellow there is painted, the silver is painted, silver, yellow, all that stuff is painted. It looks really good. I think it's a far more striking deco of this mold than the Minerva, but I also think the materials are better. But I'd have to look at them side by side. All right, so for the shoulders, we have a flap here that gets the arm up. You can get the shoulder pad out of the way. That gets the arm up way past 90 degrees. Also, there's an additional hinge here for a universal joint at the shoulder pad itself, and that's also where you'll get your swivel around for 360. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow for the full range, wrist swivel, and you get a hinge up, so that's nice. The thumbs are on their own hinge, and then the fingers are collectively articulated at a base tension, I believe, and then a secondary knuckle as well. Same for the other side, and we even have a couple little yellow accents there on the forearm, which I dig. The silver grill there on the stomach looks good. The abdomen is basically a ball peg, so you get a little bit of an ab crunch back. It's a little tricky to maneuvering it around the waist. You get a little bit slightly forward, and then a waist swivel. Nothing really for the teapot, which I think is fine. Ball pegs for hips, but because of the sculpt of the thigh, it's a little limited, but it should be everything that you need. It's not the biggest limitation here for the figure itself. We'll get there in a second. And then forward and back to there, so that's pretty good. Thigh swivel built around the socket of the ball peg, so no issues there. I love the deco breakup on the knee, how the grill forms the knee and looks really, really at least interesting and kind of brings your attention to it. The knee is my biggest issue. So the knees are technically double jointed. However, just due to them, you barely get 90 degrees, and I think if you were to take a protractor? What am I, a geometrist? If you were to take is that a word? If you were to take that, I think you would find that it's probably technically less than 90 degrees. The card detailings do come in nice. These pieces have a tendency to come unplugged, at least for me, which is a bit of a bummer. You don't get any ankle movement, but you do get toe stuff, and that kind of fakes the funk for it, which I think is fine, but you get an ankle, toe tilt down, up, and then the toe moves for the rocker, basically to give you the rocker. It ends up working, at least in my experience, for all the posing and stuff, so it should get you what you need just fine, even though it's technically, a cheat. I like this one better, man. I like this one better than the Minerva. I don't know if it's the deco. I'm telling you, the materials feel sturdier. But this to me seems like an improvement. But like I said, memory is a fickle mistress, and she could have me all sorts of ate up. But in my mind, this is a better overall built piece, which is nice to see. Love to see it. Let's do some size comparisons. Size comparison wise, there he is with a Masterpiece car. So pretty much about the same size. Should fit in quite nicely. And there he is with the Headmasters from Make Toys. And it is interesting just to have the kind of diversity in size and scale. I might be sold on this one. Let's get him transformed. And I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is the easiest part of the transformation is first. The bad news is the hardest part comes right after that. So let's do the easy part. You ready? I said easy. I should never say easy. Remove the backpack. Remove the head. All right, so untab the door. Untab this. This is probably the trickiest part of the transformation, getting the legs sorted. Open up the foot and spin it 180 and then spin it 90. And let's see. Bend the knee, but keep the double joint straight. And as you come around, collapse that foot. As you come around, just keep in mind that this foot here, so you got to spin it again. This is the tab there that has to line up with the thigh. And that should help you kind of keep it in position. Then you can maneuver the front fender around, collapse your kneecap, and tab it in. Leave the doors there, and you can also extend these pieces. I don't know if it's better to do it now or later, but you can do this too. And let me get my thoughts together before I do the other one, because this is not the easiest. All right, we'll try it one more time. It's a pain. So open up spin it. You want to open up this piece, disconnect the door, make sure that your knee is fully extended, collapse the foot down. As you start to rotate, remember that that tab needs to go into the side of the foot there. And you might need to go like that. Yeah. So it's this tab here on the foot. And then this is the only part, man, where it's just like, it just feels like you have to spin too much around the plastic, but there it is. Collapse it all. Spin this piece around. Move the kneecap down. Tab it all in. You have your door ready, and you can connect these two pieces. Whew. Rotate the bicep in, and then the hand, so you see the back of the hand. Do that on both sides. And then you want to, I get 8 up on this. I think it's like this. I'll do it when get the arm up like this, and then over. Same on the other side. And then these pieces have to come around and line up so that the wheels are obviously on the bottom of the car. You want to get this a little tighter, to be fair. This part I always like to go over because it's a little tricky, but separate these pieces, spin them once, and then twice, and they'll lay down to the other side. Once, and then twice. It's the most crazy thing in the world. And then they'll actually interlock. Now we're coming down the home stretch, finishing touches. Open these panels up here from the inside, and open up the black piece here in your window on both sides. Then, let's see, bring your legs together and tab in those two pieces. Bring up your car doors. Actually, these pieces here, just want to make sure that they're sorted out. Tab them in. And also tab them into the back, and then same on the other side. All right, and then you can, I guess you can flip this piece down as well, and make sure that this piece is sitting nice and flush. And then the last thing that you have to do is take your backpack, spin this piece around, flip this piece down, extend this, and then plug it in to here, and just sort of start kind of tightening all the pieces. I'll clean it up, we'll take a look at it. And there it is. And it rolls like a champ, which is nice. The silver comes through, the blue paint comes through, the flames look great with the airbrushing colors and such. The silver, the details, the silver there, the red translucents even look good. Silver on the back. Like, I just feel like this is, sorry, you can't even see that. I just feel like this is so much more of a successful effort than the Minerva. Yeah, this one kind of works for me. I'll be honest with you. I don't hate it at all. Not mad at it. Translucent for the front looks good. I'm thinking about picking this up. I'll be honest with you. I'm really thinking about giving it a shot. It's not perfect, not without its flaws, etc., but I do look how clean it is underneath, and the colors still come through. This one just seems to have a little bit of the extra added love and attention that I feel like Minerva didn't get. And I'll be honest, I don't know if it's because I think the deco looks better, but even the materials feel sturdier to me. So I don't know. Hard to say, but I think it looks pretty good. You got the silver there on the side mirrors and such. No issues. And there it is with Tiger Track. So it lines up pretty nicely. Final thoughts wise, let's start with the negatives, and I think objectively the main issue with me in this one is the knee range. It is very limiting, and it does cause issues in terms of getting him in poses. Now, as you can see, it's definitely possible. However, believe what I say when I tell you that it isn't always the easiest. My second issue is that some of the tabs are a little long and thin. There's one that's already stressing where the rear bumper plugs into itself. There's one of those tabs that's already stressing, so Lance, use caution when manipulating it. That may be it, but I don't know if I'm fooling myself myself here, don't get me wrong, but that may be why the initial release plastic was a little softer, was to accommodate those sorts of things, because this does seem different. And I may be wrong, I'm willing to admit it, but in my mind, it feels different. And then the only other issue that I have with this is the same kind of manipulation of that fender and hood around the thigh. It's just like, it's just not fun, it's troublesome, it's awkward, it's clumsy, and it gets on my nerves. And honestly, that's it. It's not a terrible list of complaints, and one of them's subjective. You know, some people might love to manipulate transformations and really kind of fine-tuned areas where everything has to be lined up perfectly. I'm just not that guy. Positives wise, the materials feel better to me. And like I said, maybe my memory's playing tricks on me. It's the last time I'm gonna say it, but it feels better to me. It's painted, the flames look great, plus the blue is painted. For the most part, the articulation works well. The build is decent. 60% of the transformation works smoothly. It has the appropriate accessories. There's options as far as how you want to display them in regards to whether or not to get the backpack on or how you manipulate the shoulder pads. Like, this is a really well done figure, and it just shocks me just how differently I feel about this in comparison to the Minerva. I really think like this one, they homed it in, whereas the Minerva one, they kind of snuck one past the goalie, as it were. So bravo, I'm always about improvement and things getting better. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.